When Jiho pressed the button, nothing seemed to happen at first. The room was quiet. Everyone held their breath. "Did it work?" asked General Sunho. Jiho checked his computer. The signal went out. All devices should be active now. Ha-eun was watching the screen showing cities around the world. "Look," she said, pointing. On the screens they could see the alien ships. The ships had stopped moving. Some hung in the air without doing anything. Others were slowly dropping lower in the sky, but not crashing. "It's working," said Jiho. His voice was full of wonder. "They're shutting down." Around the world, the same thing was happening. In New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, everywhere the devices had been placed, alien ships froze in the air. Their weapons powered down. The attack stopped all at once. In the command center, people started to cheer. Jiho and Ha-eun hugged each other. General Sunho allowed himself a small smile. "How long will the effect last?" he asked Jiho. "Maybe an hour," said Jiho. "Maybe more. We're not sure." "Enough time to rescue our people," said General Sunho. He turned to an officer. "Get a team ready. We're going to the mothership." Inside the alien mothership, Taijin and Minji sat in a small cell. The two soldiers who had come with them were in another cell nearby. They could hear alarms blaring throughout the ship. "Something's happening," said Minji. Suddenly, the lights in the cell flickered. Then they went out completely. Emergency lights came on, casting a dim red glow. "The pulse," said Taijin. It worked. The door to their cell slid open a few inches, then stopped. The power was failing. Taijin pushed on the door. It moved slowly. He pushed harder until the gap was wide enough for them to squeeze through. "Come on," he said to Minji. "We need to find a way off this ship." They stepped into the hallway. It was dim and quiet. No guards were in sight. "What happened to the aliens?" asked Minji. They found an answer when they turned a corner. An alien guard was sitting on the floor back against the wall. Its forearms hung limply at its sides. Its eyes were open but didn't move. The neural implant on its head was dark. The pulse affected them directly, said Minji. Their neural implants shut down. "Are they dead?" asked Taijin. Minji checked the alien's neck. "No, there's a pulse. They're alive, but sleeping, I guess. Their brains are reset." They continued. Through the ship. Everywhere they found aliens in the same state. Alive but completely still like statues. Finally, they reached a large door. Taijin pushed it open. Inside was the control room. Admiral Vax sat in his chair, not moving. Screens around the room showed Earth cities. The alien attack had stopped everywhere. "We did it," said Minji. "We stopped them." Taijin walked to Vax. The alien admiral's eyes were open, but empty. The neural device on his head was dark. He said the war would be over. "In 5 minutes," said Taijin. He was right, just not the way he thought. They heard a noise at the door. Both turned quickly, but it wasn't aliens. It was Earth soldiers. General Sun Ho led them. "Captain Kim," he said. "Dr. Yoon, good to see you alive." "General," said Taijin. "The plan worked. The pulse stopped them." "All over the world," said General Sun Ho. "Every city with our devices is safe. The aliens are like this." He pointed to Vax. "They're not dead," said Minji. "Just shut down. When the pulse wears off, they'll wake up." "Then we need to be ready," said General Sun Ho. "We're taking control of this ship." An hour later, the alien neural systems began to restart. In the control room, Taijin and General Sun Ho watched as Admiral Vax's eyes began to move. The neural device on his head flickered, then lit up again. Vax blinked. He looked around, confused. "What happened?" he asked. "The war is over," said General Sun Ho. "You lost." Vax tried to stand up but found himself tied to his chair. Earth soldiers stood around the room, guns pointed at the aliens. "Impossible," said Vax. "Our weapons, our ships." "Shut down," said Taijin. "All of them, all over the world." "How?" asked Vax. His voice was no longer confident. Tae-jin took one of the pulse devices from his pocket. He showed it to Vax. This little thing. It sends out a signal that affects your neural implants and your technology. Simple, really. Vax stared at the small device. But our shields, our weapons, they all use the same system, said Tae-jin. The same frequencies, the same patterns, that's your weakness. You said we were weak, said General Sun-ho. You were wrong. Vax looked at the screens around the room. They showed his ships hanging, in the air, powerless. Some had been captured by humans already. What will you do with us, he asked. That's not decided yet, said General Sun-ho. But first you're going to call off any other ships that might be coming to Earth. And, added Tae-jin, you're going to promise never to attack Earth again. The Dyson Confederation does not make promises to lesser species, said Vax, some of his pride returning. Tae-jin held up the pulse device again. Would you like another demonstration? This time for a day instead of an hour? Vax looked at the device. Then he lowered his head. I will call them off. 3 days later, Tae-jin stood in a large meeting room at the United Nations. World leaders sat around a table. At one end was Vax, now a prisoner, and speaking for the Dyson Confederation. We agree to these terms, said Vax. The Dyson Confederation will never attack Earth again. We will pay for damages caused during our brief conflict. And, added the UN president, you will share some of your technology with us. Peaceful technology only. Yes, said Vax. This too. And you will tell other alien species about Earth, said Tae-jin. Tell them we are not to be underestimated. Vax looked at Tae-jin. There was a new respect in his black eyes. This I will, do gladly. The galaxy should know about humans. They should know what you did. After the meeting, Ha-yun, Ji-ho, and Min-ji joined Tae-jin outside. Did you hear? Said Ji-ho excitedly. They're calling it the 5-minute war. Shortest war in history, said Ha-yun with a smile. Vax is different now, said Min-ji. Humbler. Getting beaten in 5 minutes will do that to you, said Ji-ho. Tae-jin looked up at the sky. The alien mothership still hung there, but now Earth flags flew from it. Humans were studying it, learning from it. What do you think will happen now? Asked Ha-un. Everything changes, said Tae-jin. We know we're not alone in the galaxy. We know there are dangers out there, but we also know we can defend ourselves. Because we're different, said Min-ji. Because we don't all think the same way. Exactly, said Tae-jin. Our diversity is our strength. The Dyson made all their species the same. It made them efficient, but it also gave them all the same weakness. Humans are messy, said Ji-ho. We argue, we disagree, we see things differently. And that's how we won, said Ha-yun. Because I saw one thing in their communications, Min-ji saw something in their biology, and Ji-ho used both to make the pulse device. General Sun-ho joined them. He looked tired but proud. Captain Kim, he said, the president wants to speak with you and your team. Something about medals. We don't need medals, said Tae-jin. We were just doing our job. Maybe, said the general, but the world needs heroes right now. And a reminder that sometimes being different is what saves us. As they walked back inside, Tae-jin looked once more at the alien ship in the sky. Vax had said the war would end in 5 minutes. He was right. But now the real work was just beginning, learning to live in a much bigger, more dangerous, and more wonderful universe than they had ever imagined. Tae-jin ran through the busy hallways of the base. People moved quickly around him. Some carried boxes of the pulse devices. Others worked on computers tracking alien ships. He found Ji-ho in the main workshop. Hundreds of the small round devices sat on tables. How many do we have? Tae-jin asked. Almost 3,000, said Ji-ho. Not enough for the whole world, but enough for major cities. We need to move now, said Tae-jin. The aliens are starting their attack. Ha-un entered the room holding her tablet. I have news, she said. Good and bad. Bad news first, said Tae-jin. The aliens are attacking faster than we thought. There are over 10 major cities already. And the good news? Haon smiled a little. They're grouping their ships together. This makes it easier for our devices to affect more of them at once. Why would they do that? Asked Ji-ho. They think we're weak, said Tai-jin. They don't. Expect us to fight back in any way that matters. Their arrogance is helping us. Minji joined them. She looked worried. The first attacks have started. The alien ships are using some kind of energy beam. It's destroying buildings, but they're being careful not to hit people. They want slaves, not dead bodies, said Ji-ho angrily. Tai-jin thought for a moment. We need to get these devices to every major city, now. How do we do it? I have an idea, said Ha-un. She pointed to her tablet, showing a map of the world. We use our fastest jets. They can carry the devices to other countries. Will they get past the alien ships? Asked Minji. The aliens are focused on cities, said Ha-un. They're not watching the space between them carefully. Our pilots can fly low and fast. It's risky, said Tai-jin. Everything is risky now, said Ji-ho. General Sun-ho entered the room. His uniform was dusty. He had been outside seeing the damage from the first attacks. Captain Kim, he said. The president wants to surrender. Many world leaders do too. Tell them to wait, said Tai-jin. We have a plan. We just need a little more time. General Sun-ho looked at the devices on the tables. How much time? 3 hours, said Tai-jin, maybe 4. We need to get these devices to cities around the world. The general nodded. I'll do what I can, but hurry. An hour later, jets were taking off from airports around the country. Each carried boxes of the pulse devices. Pilots flew low, just above the trees, trying to avoid alien ships. In the command center, Tai-jin and his team watched dots on a big screen. The dots showed their jets moving across the map. Tokyo team has landed, said Ha-un. They're distributing the devices now. Beijing team reports alien ships are blocking their path, said an officer at another desk. They're trying to find another way in. London team is 5 minutes from arrival, said another voice. Tai-jin checked the time. 2 hours had passed. On another screen, he could see alien ships over Seoul. They were firing energy beams at buildings. People ran through the streets, smoke filled the air. We need more time, he said. General Sun-ho stood beside him. We don't have more time. The aliens are picking up speed. They're attacking more cities every minute. We need to slow them down, said Tai-jin. Distract them somehow. Minji, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. Maybe we can talk to them again. One last time. They won't listen, said Ji-ho. They don't need to listen, said Minji. They just need to be distracted. Tai-jin understood what she meant. You want to keep their attention while we finish delivering the devices. Minji nodded. It's dangerous, said General Sun-ho. Whoever talks to them might not come back. I'll go, said Tai-jin. I'll take a small team. 30 minutes later, Tai-jin stood in a small clearing near the alien mothership. With him were Minji and 2 soldiers. They had brought a communication device that Ha-un had made. Ready? Tai-jin asked. Minji nodded. She turned on the device. It sent a signal to the alien ship. A voice came from the device. It was Vax. Humans, you wish to surrender? We wish to talk, said Tai-jin. Face to face. One last time. There was a pause. Then, very well, I will send a ship for you. A few minutes later, a small ship landed in the clearing. The door opened. Inside were 2 alien guards. This is crazy, whispered one of the soldiers. Maybe, said Tai-jin, but we need more time. They stepped into the ship. The door closed behind them. The ship rose quickly into the air and flew toward the mothership. In the mothership, Tai-jin and his team were led through long hallways. The walls were made of a strange metal that seemed to glow. Finally, they reached a large room. Admiral Vax sat on a raised chair. Around him were screens showing the attacks on Earth cities. He looked pleased. You see? He said, pointing to the screens. Already your people run in fear. Already your buildings fall. and we have barely begun. That's why we're here, said Tae-jin, to ask for mercy. Vax laughed his metallic laugh. Now you ask for mercy? It is too late. Minji stepped forward. Please. There must be a way we can work together. We can give you resources without war. Silence, said Vax. We do not need your permission to take what we want. The attack continues. Tae-jin looked at one of the screens. It showed the time. They had been in the mothership for 20 minutes. He needed to keep Vax talking. Why do all 7 of your species work together? Tae-jin asked. You're so different from each other. Vax seemed surprised by the question. We work together because we are the same where it matters. He pointed to his head. Here, we think as one. You changed your brains to be the same, said Minji. Yes, said Vax, looking proud. It is our greatest achievement. No more misunderstandings, no more conflicts between species, pure efficiency. But doesn't that mean you all have the same weaknesses too? Asked Tae-jin. Vax's smile disappeared. What do you mean? Tae-jin checked the time again. Almost 40 minutes had passed. Nothing. Just curious. Vax stood up. He walked to Tae-jin. You are stalling. Why? Tae-jin didn't answer. Vax turned to one of his guards. Check the human communication networks. See what they are planning. The guard typed on a screen. After a moment, he looked up. Admiral, human aircraft have been detected moving between major cities. They are carrying small devices. Vax turned back to Tae-jin. His black eyes were angry now. What are these devices? A welcome gift, said Tae-jin. Vax hit a button on his wrist. Alarms started to sound throughout the ship. Lock them up, he ordered the guards. Then find those devices and destroy them. As the guards led Tae-jin and his team away, he saw the time on one of the screens. They had bought almost an hour. He hoped it was enough. In the command center on Earth, Ha-Yun watched the map. Most of the jets had reached their destinations. The devices were in place in cities around the world. We have confirmation, said an officer. All major cities have received the devices. They're ready to activate. What about Captain Kim and Dr. Yoon? Asked Ji-ho. They're still on the alien ship. Ha-un looked sad. We can't wait. The aliens are attacking everywhere now. We need to activate the devices. General Sun-ho nodded. Prepare for activation. May God help us all. Ji-ho looked at the main device in the center of the room. It would send the signal to activate all the others around the world. This is for Earth, he said. Then he pressed the button. The war room was filled with people. Maps covered the walls. Screens showed alien ships moving into attack positions around the world. Military leaders from different countries argued loudly. We should use nuclear weapons, shouted one general. And destroy our own cities? Another yelled back. General Sun-ho raised his hand for quiet. Everyone stopped talking. Before we make any decisions, he said, I want you to hear from Captain Kim's team. They have found something important. Tae-jin stepped forward. He looked tired. None of them had slept since the aliens' announcement. The Daesan Confederation has better weapons than us, Tae-jin said. Their ships have shields. Our bullets and missiles probably won't hurt them. The room grew quiet. Faces looked worried. But, Tae-jin continued, we found something interesting about them, something they don't want us to know. He nodded to Ha-un. She stepped forward with her tablet. The 7 alien species all use the same brain patterns, she explained. They change their own brains to be the same. It helps them work together, but it might also be a weakness. Minji joined her. I studied the biological samples we collected when they visited. All 7 species have neural implants in their brains. The implants connect to their ships and weapons. Everything is on the same system. So what? Asked a general from America. How does this help us? Ji-ho smiled. He held up a small, round device. It helps us because I made this. What is it? Asked General Sun-ho. An electromagnetic pulse generator, said Ji-ho, but not a normal one. This one makes a very specific frequency. It targets the exact pattern their brains and technology use. Will it work? asked a leader from Europe. We think so, said Tae-jin, but we need to test it first. That night, Tae-jin and Ji-ho drove to a hill overlooking the alien ship. The road was empty. Most people were hiding in their homes or shelters. Are you sure this is safe? Tae-jin asked. Ji-ho looked at the small device in his hand. No, but we need to test it. This one is small. It will only affect a tiny area. They parked the car and walked to the top of the hill. The alien ship glowed in the darkness. Lights moved around its edge. Ready? Asked Ji-ho. Tae-jin nodded. Ji-ho turned on the device. Nothing seemed to happen at first. Then they noticed a small alien scout ship flying near them. It was about the size of a car. Suddenly it dropped from the sky. It fell into some trees with a crash. It worked, Ji-ho whispered excitedly. They ran to the crashed ship. Inside was a single alien pilot. It wasn't moving, but Tae-jin could see it was still breathing. It's not dead, he said. Just turned off. Ji-ho studied the controls of the small ship. The whole system is down. The pulse worked perfectly. They heard more ships coming. We need to go, said Tae-jin. Now we know it works. We need to make more of these devices. Many more. Back at the base, Tae-jin reported their success to General Sun-ho. The device works, he said, but we need thousands of them to affect all their ships. How quickly can we make them? Asked the general. With help from factories around the world. Maybe 2 days, said Ji-ho. General Sun-ho shook his head. We might not have 2 days. The aliens are getting ready to attack. Their ships are moving into position. We need more time, said Tae-jin. I may be able to help with that, said Ha-eun. Everyone turned to look at her. She was holding her communication device. I've been studying their language. I think I can send them a message. Maybe we can delay them. What kind of message? Asked Tae-jin. A request to talk, said Ha-eun. One last meeting before the war starts. General Sun-ho thought for a moment. Do it, he said. Buy us as much time as you can. The next day, Tae-jin and General Sun-ho stood in the same field where they first met the aliens. This time, only Ambassador Vax came out of the ship. 2 tall alien guards stood behind him. You wanted to talk, said Vax. Talk. General Sun-ho stepped forward. We want to understand why you're doing this. Why attack us? We never harmed you. Vax tilted his head. We need resources. Your planet has them. It's simple. There must be empty planets with resources, said Tae-jin. Why choose one with people? Humans are useful too, said Vax. You will work for us. You'll make us slaves, said General Sun-ho. Vax shrugged his 4 shoulders. You will serve a greater purpose. The Daesan Confederation brings order to chaos. Your species is divided. You fight each other. You waste your potential. Our differences make us strong, said Tae-jin. Vax laughed. It sounded like metal breaking. Strong? You are not strong. Your bodies are fragile. Your technology is primitive. Your minds are disorganized. We're more than you think, said General Sun-ho. We have conquered 100 worlds, said Vax. Some more advanced than yours. None could stop us. He looked at his wrist device. This meeting is over. You have 1 more day before we attack. Use it to prepare for surrender. He turned and walked back to his ship. The guards followed. Did we get enough time? Tae-jin asked quietly. I hope so, said General Sun-ho. Around the world, humans worked quickly. Factories ran day and night. Ji-ho's design was sent everywhere. People built the pulse devices by the thousands. In a large workshop, Tae-jin watched workers assemble the devices. Minji stood beside him. Will it be enough? She asked. It has to be, said Tae-jin. On the other side of the room, Ha-eun was talking to Ji-ho. She looked worried. What's wrong? Tae-jin asked, walking over to them. The aliens are sending a lot of messages to each other, said Ha-eun. I think they know we're planning something. How could they know? Asked Tae-jin. I don't know, said Ha-eun. But their ships are moving. They're getting into attack position early. Jiho checked his watch. We've made about 60% of the devices we need. We need more time. Tae-jin thought for a moment. Keep working. I need to talk to General Sunho. In his office, General Sunho listened as Tae-jin explained the situation. The aliens are moving early, said Tae-jin. We need more time. The general looked at the world map on his wall. Red dots showed alien ships over every major city. We're out of time, he said. They're starting to attack smaller cities already. Reports are coming in from around the world. Tae-jin felt his heart sink. We need to use what we have then. We can protect some cities, but not all. General Sunho stood up straight. His face looked determined. Then we protect what we can. We'll focus on major population centers first. Deploy the devices we have now. Yes, sir, said Tae-jin. As he turned to leave, alarms started blaring throughout the base. A soldier ran into the room. Sir, alien ships are moving over the city. They're charging their weapons. General Sunho looked at Tae-jin. It seems our time is up, Captain. Let's hope what we have is enough. Tae-jin nodded and ran from the room. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The giant ship appeared in the sky without warning. One moment the morning was normal. The next, a dark shape blocked the sun over Seoul. People stopped in the streets. They pointed up. Some ran. Others took pictures with their phones. Captain, Tae-jin Kim was eating breakfast when his phone rang. He answered it quickly. Captain Kim speaking. Sir, you need to come to base now, said the voice on the other end. It was Lieutenant Jiho. His voice shook. There are ships, big ones, all over the world. Tae-jin put down his coffee cup. He looked out his window. There it was, a massive dark ship hanging in the sky. It was shaped like a flat disc with strange lights around its edge. I'll be there in 10 minutes, he said. The United Earth Defense Force base was busy. People ran back and forth. Screens showed the alien ships over cities around the world. New York, London, Beijing, Cairo, everywhere. Tae-jin walked quickly to the main room. General Sunho was already there. His face was serious. Around him stood the rest of Tae-jin's team, Jiho with his messy hair, Ha-yun looking at data on her tablet, and Dr. Min-ji writing notes quickly. Captain Kim, said General Sunho. Good. You're here. The aliens sent a message. They want to talk. Tae-jin nodded. What do we know about them? Ha-yun looked up from her tablet. Not much. Their ships appeared at the same time all over Earth. They have technology we've never seen before. They call themselves the Daesun Confederation. They want to meet with world leaders in 1 hour, said General Sunho. I want you and your team there. The meeting place was the large field outside, the city. The alien ship landed there. It was even bigger up close. Tae-jin stood with world leaders and other military officers. They all watched as a door opened in the side of the ship. The aliens walked out. Tae-jin's eyes widened. They were tall, at least 7 feet. Their skin was pale blue. They had 4 arms and walked on 2 legs. Their eyes were large and black. 7 different aliens came out, each a little different from the others. One stepped forward. I am Ambassador Vax of the Daesun Confederation. We come with an offer for Earth. A machine translated his words. His voice sounded strange, like metal scraping on metal. The President of the United Nations stepped forward. We welcome you to Earth. I am President Lee. We are ready to talk. Ambassador Vax looked at the humans. His black eyes moved from person to person. He seemed to be studying them. The Daesun Confederation is powerful, he said. We have 7 species in our group. We have visited many worlds. We offer Earth protection. Protection from what? Asked President Lee. The galaxy is dangerous, said Vax. Many would take advantage of weak planets like yours. Tae-jin noticed how Vax said weak. He didn't like it. In return for this protection, Vax continued, we ask for some of your resources and limited control of your planet. The world leaders looked at each other. President Lee spoke carefully. This is a big decision. We need time to think about it. Vax nodded. You have 3 Earth days to decide. The aliens turned and walked back to their ship. As they left, Tae-jin saw one of them look back at the humans. The alien's face showed what could only be described as pity. Back at the base, Tae-jin's team talked about the meeting. They think, "We're weak," said Ji-ho, hitting the table with his fist. "Did you see how they looked at us like we're children?" "They have reasons to think that," said Min-ji calmly. "Their ships alone show they have technology far beyond ours." Ha-eun was typing fast on her computer. "I recorded everything they said. I'm running it through our systems now." Tae-jin walked around the room. "Did anyone else notice they had 7 different types of aliens? They said 7 species in their confederation." General Sun-ho entered the room. His face was grim. "World leaders are talking. Many want to accept the aliens' offer. They're afraid of what will happen if we say no. We can't just give them our planet," said Ji-ho. "We need more information," said Tae-jin. "We need to know what we're dealing with." For the next 2 days, Tae-jin's team worked without stopping. Ha-eun studied the aliens' language and signals. Ji-ho looked at pictures of their ships, trying to understand how they worked. Min-ji studied the little biological data they had. On the morning of the 3rd day, Ha-eun called everyone to her desk. "I found something," she said. "When the aliens talk to each other, they use a special frequency. It's different from our radio waves. I recorded some of it." She played the recording. It sounded like high-pitched buzzing. "That's weird," said Ji-ho. "It doesn't sound like talking." "It's not," said Ha-eun. "It's data, direct data transfer. I think they're communicating brain to brain." Min-ji leaned forward. "That would explain the devices I saw on their heads. Neural implants." Tae-jin thought about this. "So they share thoughts directly. How does that work?" "The interesting part," said Ha-eun, "is that all 7 species use the exact same method. Their neural patterns are standardized." "Standardized?" asked General Sun-ho, who had been listening quietly. "Yes," said Ha-eun. "Despite being different species, they all process information the same way. It's like they rewired their brains to match each other." "That's strange," said Tae-jin. "Why would different species evolve the same neural patterns?" "They didn't evolve them," said Min-ji suddenly. "They engineered them. They changed their own brains to be the same. It would make communication easier across species." Ji-ho snapped his fingers. "That's why their technology looks so uniform too. They standardized everything." Tae-jin walked to the window. Outside, the alien ship still hung in the sky. That might be important. If they all think the same way, they might all share the same weaknesses. The door burst open. A soldier ran in. "Sir, the aliens are broadcasting a message to the whole world." They turned on the screen. Ambassador Vax's face filled it. "People of Earth," he said, "your time to decide is over. We have monitored your discussions. Many of your leaders wish to resist our generous offer. This is unwise." The camera pulled back to show more of the aliens. Behind them stood tall machines that looked like weapons. "The Daesan Confederation has conquered worlds far more advanced than yours. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your technology is primitive. We gave you a chance to join us peacefully. Now we will take what we need." Vax smiled. It wasn't friendly. "Do not worry. This war will be over quickly. We estimate 5 minutes will be enough to demonstrate our power. Then you will surrender." The screen went black. Silence filled the room. Then General Sun-ho spoke. "It seems we're at war," he said quietly. Tae-jin turned to his team. His mind was already working, thinking of what Ha-eun had discovered about the aliens' standardized brains. "Maybe," he said, "but not the kind of war they expect."